Madam President, let me use some of the time for the issue at hand. First of all, Madam President, I want to talk about the technical corrections bill that is going to be voted on in about 15 minutes, not the bill, but the motion to proceed to the bill. The transportation bill that we're involved in, that Senator Boxer and I are involved in back in 2005, that we passed August 10th of 2005, authorized $286 billion in transportation infrastructure spending for that fiscal years 05 through 09. Now, let me just say that this, as a conservative standing here, that's a huge number. I think that maybe have been the largest non-defense spending bill at the time, up to that time. But it's interesting that if we spend all of that, it's not going to even maintain what we have today. And that's why we put into the bill a committee to look into new ways of funding infrastructure, new ways of funding transportation. We've been doing it the same way since President Eisenhower. And it's time that we try something different, because I think there's a resistance to continue to increase taxes, and just as the only way of funding our infrastructure. Included in the bill are recommended technical changes from the Department of Transportation that address functional problems in implementing the bill, technical changes to safety projects which will continue to be delayed from breaking ground due to simple drafting errors and descriptions. And furthermore, universities and other transportation research will not receive their fully intended funding, and the states will be unable to use millions of dollars in transportation funds that were authorized 3 years ago. The bill, something that's kind of interesting, the bill does not increase the overall size of safety. I've heard a lot of people say, well, this is a big spending bill. First of all, it's not a spending bill. As we all know, it's an authorization bill. But the technical corrections is also authorization. Now, it's my understanding, and I believe it's true, that the total amount of authorization that was in the bill itself is not changed by the technical corrections bill. A lot of people are implying that it is, and I do not believe it is. We've had our staff and ourselves looking at it. It may change some of the priorities in authorizations, but the overall figure, the top line, is going to be the same. Several of my colleagues have approached me recently with additional project fixes. In some cases, I've had to say no to their requests because they either submitted them too late to be considered with our negotiations with the House. The request went beyond the scope of technical fix, or because the proposed fix was to a House project, which the House objected to the change. Let's keep in mind, we have two houses working on this. We have the Senate and the House. And this is a very difficult type of legislation to get passed. But one thing you can't do is start making changes and anticipate that the House is going to go along with those changes, because I can tell you right now they're not going to do it. The colleagues that we have in the House passed this bill, I believe, 7 times, but each time it comes over to the Senate, it has been held up. The bill before us, along with the manager's substitute amendment, is the commutation of negotiations between the House and the Senate. Any changes to the bill at this point will require the concurrence of the House, or the bill will not proceed. Therefore, I ask my colleagues to understand that if you are planning on filing an amendment before the chair and I can agree to it, we need to determine if our counterparts in the House would find it to be agreeable. I suggest they probably will not. Now, I have heard just about an hour ago when I arrived back in Washington that it might be that the administration could have some objections to this. I'm having a hard time understanding how this could be. First of all, they supported the bill. They signed the bill when it first passed in August of 2005. The technical corrections is a common thing that we all have. It does not have a net increase in authorizations, and I can't see why it would be. I understand that there would be one provision in there having to do with rapid transit that would be not in our committee. It was not in the committee that is chaired by Senator Boxer and used to be chaired by me. it's in the Banking Committee. And so we want to look at that and see, and if that's the objection, I certainly feel we can talk to the administration and keep them from opposing it. Now, we have some amendments that have been discussed, and I have not been here long enough to find out this week if people are going to come forward with their amendments. My junior senator, Senator Coburn, makes a very good point in some of a project down in Florida called Coconut Road that there have been some problems. Well, apparently all of those have been corrected now. The only thing that I would like to talk to my junior senator about is if he wants to examine this, investigate this. I think that's a good idea. I think it's already being done. But I'm not sure you need a new, we've got enough committees and commissions around this place, thousands of them. I'm not sure we need another one. So that's something that we might want to debate. I know Senator Bond has an amendment that he's talked about in the past. I look forward to visiting with him. And so any of these amendments, yes, we want to talk about them, but let's keep in mind we do have this commitment that we have a technical corrections bill that has to pass, or we can't be implementing those provisions that otherwise that are going to allow us to correct some of the problems we have in this country. And again, here I am, a conservative, standing up saying this is not adequate what we've done today. We have another one that should be coming up next year. Hopefully it will. Sometimes it doesn't happen like it should. But in the meantime, I want that committee that is supposed to be examining the way that we have historically funded our roads and highways and our infrastructure to come up with some ideas. There are experiments in different states right now, but we're going to have to recognize the fact that this country has got to have infrastructure for it to survive. So I guess I just, in conclusion, said I want to assure my colleagues that I appreciate their responsiveness to our numerous requests to advise the committee of your requests, thereby assisting us to help you. If we were unable to satisfactorily address your concerns in this bill, please remember that there will be additional opportunities to do so when we reauthorize safety, and that reauthorization should be underway, I would say, next year. So with that, I would hope that those who object to this will at least go ahead. Let's proceed to this bill. And then we can look at it and see if there are any of the amendments that we feel would not violate the agreement between the Senate and the House and that would have the effect of killing the whole bill. I would yield the floor.